Hey, what's up? It's LJ and Emily here with LVCC Youth, and what are we doing here?
We are answering your questions that you guys had from group, and yeah.
Yep. Questions. Let's do this.
Okay, so are angels sinless? And if not, then how can they be in the presence of God? For if God did not spare the angels when they sinned, but sent them to hell, putting them in chains of darkness to be held for judgment.
So, are angels sinless? I would argue that until they sin, yes. Right? If they haven't sinned, then they are sinless. But if they have sinned, then they are no longer sinless, and God is a just God and deals with them appropriately. In fact, there's a story where he kicks a third of the angels out of heaven because they rebelled, and God was like, not in my house.
Yeah. Why did a guy sacrifice his daughters after God said not to?
It's clear that God's like, hey, don't do human sacrifices. Well, to give you background, that story is in the book of Judges. A judge named Jephthah. I'm probably saying that wrong. How would you say Jephthah? Jephthah? All right.
Something.
Anyways, Jephthah made a foolish vow to the Lord that if God gave him victory in battle, he would sacrifice whatever first came out of his door when he came home, which is a dumb idea. Because when he got home, guess what the first thing out of his door was? His daughter. You can find this story in Judges 11, 30 or so. So chapter 11, verse 30. And his daughter comes out, and it's kind of crazy. The Bible doesn't actually tell us specifically what he did to sacrifice her, but it does say that he did to her as he had vowed. So it can be assumed that he did do that. Now, here's the thing. God has always been a God who's like, hey, I don't want human sacrifices. Don't kill people on account of me. Like, not in worship anyways. That's not the way God rolls. And so you shouldn't read this and think, oh man, God totally accepted a sacrifice like that. No, it's just that Jephthah gave his word that he would do something, and after giving his word, he had to do it. Like, it's a horrible situation. He shouldn't have been in it. The whole story is basically about making vows that are like hurried or rushed or not thought of. Basically, when you say something, think through what you say is what it's teaching. Like, we can't just say, oh yeah, Jesus, I'll promise you this or that, and not have to think about the consequences of what this or that really means. This guy made a vow, and his vow cost him his daughter. And so I think he learned the lesson to be careful about what he says.
Let your yeses be yeses and anything else?
Yeah, and don't let your yeses be yes, and I'll kill whatever comes out of my door first, because you might lose something important, like your daughter. Where did we come up with the idea that...
So, regarding heaven being above us and hell being below us, the Hebrews looked at it like they had a view of almost like 3 different layers of heaven, and not layers of heaven, but what they talked about is like the heavens. When they refer to the heavens, they often meant like the sky, like where birds fly and airplanes, and where we would have airplanes flying, and like just the sky. And then they referred to the outer heavens as being, that was like space where planets are and all these like celestial bodies. And then they referred to like the third heaven, or like what we would consider heaven, is beyond that. And it doesn't necessarily mean like it's directly above it. It just means that it's beyond what we can basically like perceive and see, and it's outside of what we are experiencing. But I don't know if I use the word experiencing, but
yeah, it's above.
Whatever.
It's as if there's like levels.
Yeah,
levels.
it's like levels.
You know,
not
like different levels of heaven, but like there are different concepts of heaven. Like,
yeah.
Say up there, like, okay, well up there, they mean up there like sky, up there like space, and then there's something up there that's just like beyond all that stuff.
Yeah. And then as far as hell being below, it has to like, I mean, we think of like when we bury people in the ground, and so like hell, I don't like that.
That's part of it. I think there's also Sheol, which is like a holding place that they talk about in the Old Testament, like where people go before judgment, like when they die, and that was like below, which made sense. You put people on the ground, where do you think they go? Well, you put them in the ground where they're dead. They obviously aren't going anywhere because they're dead. So, you know.
Yeah. And then there's a lot of like metaphor involved with being like if you look in various places in scripture, you see reference as Jesus like ascended into heaven or he descended. Sup? He descended, and that's like following the metaphor that heaven is above and hell is below, and it's referring to like with the fall of man, like we fell. That's referring to down. It's all following the metaphor.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. So, to answer the question, where's the concept of heaven being above and hell coming below? Would we say it's kind of from the Bible?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we'll list some verses in the video. They should be somewhere in this general area.
Oh, the bottom bar. Never mind.
Just kidding. Maybe it'll be in somewhere in this general area. Yeah. Cool. Well, hey, thanks for hanging out and asking cool questions. And come check out LVCC Youth.
Tuesday nights at 7 or Wednesday nights at 7. Tuesday if you're in junior high, Wednesday if you're in high school.
Yo. Or Sunday mornings if you want to hang out with us in
Big
the main
church.
service. Or big church as we call it
Big
sometimes.
church.
All right. Peace. God bless.
Meow.